I had this epiphany a few years back, and it sounds kind of dark on the surface, but if you accept it and if you digest it, it's actually so freeing. It was this: I was driving in my vehicle after work, and I took the long way home to an apartment which I lived alone. I lived completely alone, didn't even have a house yet, alone in an apartment. I called my stepdad because I was venting to him about the reasons why I was angry at work from this day. This wasn't an uncommon thing to be angry after work. I was always upset about different things. And then after venting to him for about 30 minutes, he finally said, "Well, James, it sounds like these people hate you." And I was like, you're right. I think they do hate me. And the reason why that was such a beautiful epiphany is because I'd spent so much time and energy into caring how these individuals at this job perceived me. I spent so much effort trying to be a member of the team, trying to belong, trying to be affirmed. But when I realized that they hate me, and by hate, I mean, to me, love is wanting what's best for someone selflessly. And hatred is the opposite of that. So if you, pure hatred is wanting what's worst for someone for no good reason other than you want them to suffer. But if you don't love someone, if you don't want what's best for them, and you treat them as so many of us get treated, like a means to an end, then that's not love, that's closer to hatred. And when I talk about that, I think some people think that I'm saying that there's something particular that's wrong with this company, or that there were evil people working at this company, and that's not what I mean at all. This company is just very representative of everything that happens in the world. The issue isn't the people. We fight not with flesh and blood, but rather with principalities. The issue is the principality. And they were operating via the principles of the world rather than the principles of God's love. So what does that have to do with loneliness? Well, I think many of us are under that sort of pressure. We're under that sort of thumb, whether it's in school or college or working a job, or even sometimes in certain circumstances around your family and even friends. Crazy. Even friends, because you choose friends. So that's why that's crazy. But if the people around you are treating you as a means to an end, they don't love you, they don't want what's best for you, certainly not selflessly, then you're always going to put on a mask. You're going to carry around this facade, and it's a facade that protects yourself. You know that these people are maybe not deliberately, but in a roundabout way out to get you. And so you don't show them your true self because you've been hurt already. And if you show them your true self, that just gives them runway to hurt you even more. So you experience that hurt, and then you don't show those people your true self. And then after time, it's like you adopt the mask. But there's a fork in the road at that point. And the fork in the road is that when you've put on that mask and you have been hurt by the world, and you're carrying around that facade in order to protect yourself, the risk is that in the same way that the world has hurt you, that facade that you're carrying, you could start to hurt other people. That's why in the Bible, Jesus says to hate the world, but it is true that the world hates us, but we're not meant to hate the world in the same way that the world hates us. Don't fight monsters unless you'll become a monster yourself, and don't stare into the abyss, or the abyss is going to stare back into you. Don't hate the world as the world hates you, but rather hate the world in the way that God hates the world. And I believe that the aspect of the world that God hates is the hatred. God hates the hatred of the world. And so the fork in the road is that either you can continue that facade, and the risk is that facade is almost certainly going to reciprocate the hurt that you've experienced onto other people, or you can be like the lost sheep. And the story of the lost sheep that Jesus tells his disciples is so beautiful for many reasons, but one reason is because it shows how God takes bad things and makes them good. The adversary of this world, Satan, takes good things and makes them bad, but God is sovereign. God's love is perfect, and God takes bad things and makes them good. And so when we've been hurt by the world and we put on that facade, and the world keeps tearing you down, and if you go against the world, it'll get angry and it'll tear you down further. We've got the tendency to be like the lost sheep and just go wander off somewhere far alone by ourselves. We don't trust anybody. We've been betrayed. We go wander off into isolation behind that facade. And because the world is so deceptive, we don't trust people, and we also maybe don't trust God. But this is where a miracle happens in the story of the lost sheep, and a miracle happens in the lives of individuals. It happened in my life, and I see it happen all the time. Which is that when you are like the lost sheep, and the story of the lost sheep is that Jesus says, who among you, if he had 100 sheep, would, if they lost one sheep, would leave the 99 behind and go find the one? And we hear that and we're like, we'll put our own connotations on it, but it's irrational. None of us would leave our 99 sheep, everything that we have, just to go find one lost sheep. Regardless of what we would say that we would do, we just wouldn't do it. But that's where God's love and God's sovereignty transcends rationality. Jesus Christ is the Logos. Jesus Christ is the pure logic. But God's love transcends human logic. It's like it's ineffable. Words can't describe it. Our minds can't even fathom it. It is beyond our rationality. And that's really what God does, is God leaves the 99, and it's nothing against the 99 sheep that he's leaving behind, but rather he loves you so much when you're hurt by the world and you're that one sheep that just leaves everything behind and goes completely into isolation, and you're afraid and you're lonely and you don't know what to do. God leaves everything, and in his perfect love, he literally gives himself for you to show you that he loves you and to free you from guilt and self-division and literal sin. And the reason why that story is so profound, especially in regards to the hatred of the world, is that when we do feel betrayed and when we do feel isolated, God does come to look for us, and at our lowest moment, God finds us, and God is calling us home. And the only way that we can be our true self is to let go of the hurt that the world has put upon us. That way we don't have to continually be afraid and keep wearing that mask, keep showing that facade, but rather we can show our true self. Because if you never show your true self because of the hurt that you've experienced, there's no way to not be lonely. And there's few things more toxic to the soul, I believe, than never expressing your true self, than never being your true self. Right. And so that's how God frees you from loneliness. It's like a second chance. We sometimes come to hate the world in the same way that the world hates us, but that is the trap. That is the only thing that the world wants of us, so that we are divided internally and we're against other people as well. But rather, God teaches you how to turn the other cheek. God teaches you how to be meek. And he doesn't do it by just telling you. He's suffering with you. And I imagine Jesus, his eyes looking at me when he's on the cross or when he's getting beaten by Pontius Pilate's soldiers. And he's always looking at you with unending love. Despite the fact that the world hates him, the world hates you as well. He's standing there taking the punishment, taking the world's hatred, so that you can enter the kingdom of God, so that you can be free, so that you can be yourself. Right. Right. And then all of his sheep, he brings that one sheep back to the 99, and then all of the sheep can be together again. All of the sheep can be together again, and the loneliness is healed. So that's God's love for us. God's love is pazza d'amore. God's love is crazy. God's love transcends human rationality. Even when the world looks bleak and hopeless and desperate and filled with doom, God takes bad things and makes them good, because that is the power of his sovereignty. That is the power of his love. And for now, that's all that I have. But I will say, also, I thought of this parable of the lost sheep because in the Discord, Justin was saying wise things via voice message. So shout out Justin. He had good things to say. We are together. We are the sheep who are together in the Discord. Come join the Discord. And that is all that I have. Goodbye.